We have the honor to be here with two student voices. One student is actually an alumni. I'm going to have her introduce herself, Jennifer, and then Sandy is a current student. And when I was getting prepared with these two, I was so blown away about their passion, their thought process, and their actual will and wanting to equip us. I had made it very clear to them that we are in a new generation where what they have gone through as students is brand new to every teacher and every host parent and every parent. And so their perspective is going to be different than maybe things that we have learned in the past. So having their honest truth about things is really needed for us to learn and to grow better. So to have them answer some questions about their experience and what they're experiencing right now with being an international student is really important for us. So welcome, Jennifer and Sandy. Thank you so much for being here with us. Jennifer, what did you share a little bit about who you are, maybe what school you went to in high school and what you're doing right now?
Sure. Hi, thank you so much for inviting me and Sandy, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer. Yes, I'm the alumni of Cambridge Network. I just graduated last year and currently a freshman in Boston University. And I went to Bellarmine Preparatory High School in Washington, Tacoma, Washington. I I was there for 3 years. I've been involved with Cambridge Network for this is the fifth year now. After I graduated from high school, I still involved with the student council and help with putting all international students across the world together. And yeah, just glad to be here and share some perspective from students. So yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Jennifer is, I think we can say that she's our intern now. We're doing a new intern program. And so it is so amazing that we can still connect to our students and help them through their next education journey in college too. And now we have Sandy. Sandy, would you introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks for inviting me. So I'm Sandy Sun, and I study in the Stewart School in Virginia, and I'm a junior this year.
Awesome. Sandy is, I would say, and I hope she's okay with me saying this, I think she's a firecracker. I think she's got a lot to say and she's going to say it and she means it. And even just talking to her 2 times, I could tell that about her. So I'm really excited for both of them to be here. Girls, I would love to know, what about your culture do you wish Americans knew about? Jennifer, you can go first.
Okay, so I will start with a pretty practical thing is about diets. I'm not a picky eater, but I have a lot of friends, international friends, they are kind of having a hard time adjusting the American food. They prefer to bring hot food or rice or something they cook at home to school for lunch. That could be hard in the beginning because, you know, like you have to prep the food and usually um, people have like salad or sandwich like cold food for lunch in some high school. And I think it would be like nice to ask their like preference, maybe have different variety of like lunch they can have or they can cook their own food. That was something like interesting I heard from my friend because some people have like different preference on their food. And
Mhm.
besides that, it's like the language. It's like what such as shared earlier. There's like this language barrier. As time goes, like usually we we just need to use the translator to have the correct word. And just like it might take a while for us to get the right word. And sometimes we say things might be kind of offensive, but we don't really like mean like um yeah, so it'd be nice if our friend or close parents kind of like point out like, oh, we're asking it, oh, what do you mean by that? Do you mean something else? Or there's a better way to say that. So yeah, just like learning language is a process. So that's something kind of I learned like, or I find very helpful during my during high school time. So yeah.
I love that. I love that that action that you put onto the language is, did you mean this? Or just a follow-up, like you don't have to assume, especially if they're learning the language, you don't have to assume they mean it. It's okay to ask a follow-up question. That is such a good tip for host families and teachers to use as they're engaging the students as well. And both of those, food and language, are two necessities of life. So it's not like you were hitting on any like dramatic want or need. Like those are two basic necessities to life, food and language. Sandy, what about you?
Yeah, sure. So first thing is also like food, and also like I used to drink like warm water when I was like in China, but like right now like I drink like iced water. Yeah, which is like really differences. And also I want to talk about like the devices, like technology devices. So what like the educational system is really differences between in China and here. So when I was in China, like Chinese high school start like 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. like public high school. Yeah, and we can't use any of the devices. So some of the students they come to the UIs and nobody like told them like, oh no, you can't play video games. So maybe they will play like all night. Yeah, I think that is really different. So I just want them to know like the educational system is really different. So maybe like they will shows like really difference.
That is such a good thing to point out. When I started to work at Cambridge, I did not really know too much about the education system in China. So to know that even things like a student that wants to play video games at night, like it's just different here. And then they have the capability to do it because the system before was 5:30 to 10. Before Sandy became a student in the US, she did attend school in China. So she understands what that system is like. And I'm assuming there are other students in the same boat, that they're coming from that type of system, and they're coming over. So the thought of playing video games at 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. is like luxury. So they're going to do it because they couldn't before. So just to even understand that, to be able to show a little bit more understanding and compassion towards a student if that's what they're going through, I think it's a really good perspective just to know about. I know Shasha talked about the phone as well. Like that is just in the culture to be on it. So we just have to show understanding to that. Moving on to the next question, what have you taught your friends about your culture? Sandy, you want to go first?
Sure. So basically, I talk with my friends about food, about like the culture, like how the high school like looks like in China, and about my family members, and also about like some sports because I play tennis. Yeah, and I mean, like some of the friends they want to know like much more about my culture, like how things like looks like for Chinese people, but like some they're not really interested about that. But I accept for like all of them opinions because I mean different people have their different opinion because some people will think something is like not their business, but some people will want to know more and to explore more about different cultures.
Yeah. Have you had something that was your favorite thing that someone responded to of you explaining it?
Yeah, so they always ask me like how to say some words in Chinese and
Mhm.
also like the high school because I'm kind of old. I'm like already 18, but I'm still a junior. Yeah, so they know I'm 18. They're like, oh my God, you're 18. You're like 4 years because I take a Spanish class with all freshmen and they're like 14 and I'm like 4 years older than them. And they're like, oh yeah. And they ask me about like how Chinese high school looks like. And because I also write a research paper discuss about like the difference between the educational system. Yeah, and why say that like we can't use any technology and we have like 10 classes, we don't have like our PE class teacher is always absent. They think it's really funny because like I told them I really want to be a PE teacher when I was like a child because I think he can always be absent. So his job is like so easy.
Gotcha. Jennifer, what about you? What are some things you've taught your friends about your culture?
Basically anything they want to know, or I just, I just like raise my hand. Hey, that's what I experienced when I was in China, and like how it relates to the course. Sometimes I'm always like willing to share my culture, like how I like the different perspective I might view things because my culture. And yeah, just like Mel said, like food, of course, and I love teaching my friends language. We still have like this weekly Chinese lesson going on with my friend. So I just teach
Mhm.
him like basic conversation and stuff. And also Hanfu, I really want to introduce this. So this is also like what I'm wearing. This is like the Chinese traditional costume clothing. And I've been involved in the Hanfu club in my school for I guess like a year, almost a year. Also like by school, I involved with some clothing and culture club as well. And it's just a great way to introduce our culture, from what like 4,000, 3,000 years ago. And people just like so amazed about it. We have events like inside and outside of campus, and everyone's like, wow, like that's so cool. Like, what is it? And you can see people are so interested in your culture as well. So it would be great to like inspire more international students that you're here not only to like learning the American culture or learning like other the diversity, but you are part of diversity. You are the one who bring different voices, and yeah, you are the one who makes it diverse. So, just be proud of your culture and be open minded. So that's great.
Drop the mic. That was it. That was so good. I did notice when you came on and I saw that I was like, "Oh, she is looking right in the outfit, the hair, all of it.
Mhm.
It's so beautiful." Thank you for sharing
Yes,
that. Um,
thank you.
kind of transitioning out of your own culture, now living in America for a few years. What is something about American culture that you have adapted into your everyday life now? We'll have Jennifer go first.
Okay, so first, at school, as Yumel has shared earlier, um, I feel like in American high school and even college, they are really push you to like critical thinking. So you are not only like, okay, this is what teacher tell me, write it down, remember it, but you are like processing what you learn in your head and kind of like, hey, if that's is it true, or is there like, can I be critical about it, is it like pros and cons? So that's something really different when you learn when you're in school in China. It's like a skill you will gain at like eventually, and also the 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 courage to like raise your hands, because in college I believe most of the college they have like participation point, so you're encouraged to raise your hands at least once one time per class. If you're not like, you don't raise your hands, you might have like a grade down or something. That's something I see could be like a little struggle for some internet student who just involved with the American education system, because that's kind of different from what they have experienced. And yeah, and also of course communication. It takes time and practice, talk to people. It's okay to have accent, make mistake, we all been there. Yeah, I'm trying to like let everyone know, hey, it's okay, I've been there and you're doing good at just as you are. Make mistake, that's good, that's how you learn things. um and anything else, I guess holidays, I always want to try new things, like Thanksgiving, of course, Christmas, and there are so many like American holidays you can explore and just have fun, celebrate it with your host family, your friends. Yeah,
So
I
great.
guess that's it. Mhm.
Yeah, that's all great things. Sandy, what about you?
Yeah, so the first thing I think is like it's really different because of the culture. Yeah, because when I was in China, like I think I never said like really directly, like when I grew up, like to my parents, like I love you. Yeah, but like when I come here, like uh so my classmates said like, oh, you look so pretty today. Yeah, that to me it's like when first time I heard that, I don't know how to say to respond. Yeah, but right now I'm like used to that, and I also will say if I think like it looks really pretty, I will say that too. Yeah, and also I think it's like the parties is really different because I remember last year I was in another high school in Connecticut, and my last host family bring me to like 3 parties. The first weekend I arrived their house, and I met like 70 different people. Yeah,
Mhm.
and they're just like say hi. Yeah, nobody care like whether they know you. They just want to come talk with you. Yeah, I feel that's really different. And also I think the sports and like the school are really different because like right now we need to do the sports and we need to sometimes I do the community service after school. Yeah, and which you can not just like do the homework but also like relax like after school so you can be healthier, I think. Yeah, and also like I think it's one really big difference is we don't have time to take a nap like after lunch, which I used to have it like when I was in China. Yeah, so I go back home sometimes and I fall asleep and I wake up and do my homework and have dinner. Yeah, I know my schedule is just so weird.
I thank you. I really love those answers. Even just the simple of complimenting. I love that. It's good. One last question for you guys. From your perspective, how can schools or homes incorporate culture in their environment more? Sandy, you can go first.
Sure. So I think I want to maybe I hope like the host parents or the school can help between the parents who are in China with the students because like the parents they don't know English. Some of them like my parents and they feel worried about because I come here like during the COVID and my parents are just like so scared about that. Yeah, and I think some students will feel really lonely because they don't know like English really well and they also like they just will feel like scared when they first move to a new country, I think. Yeah, and you can encourage them to talk with us. Yeah, I'm really glad to help them if they have any problem. Yeah, and I also want the school can maybe help the students to like introduce like how the community service hours like it's like my problem I talk with the school and I ask them like how I can find the way like how to finish my community service hours. Yeah, and you can tell them like, oh, you can maybe help film the game or you can do some other stuff. Yeah, I think that would be really helpful for the students.
Great. I know that something that we had talked about when we were discussing this ahead of time, with the things for parent communication. You were just saying a lot of things that your parents see in the news makes them worried, but it's hard for them to truly understand. So if the school or the host parent, or even on us for Cambridge too, to be able to send out more accurate things of how you guys are being protected in the midst of all that, I think that was something when you had said that, it was a really great reminder for even us as Cambridge staff that we can do a better job at explaining those things more clearly to your parents so you guys don't have to feel the weight of your parents' stress. We can help that by educating them more or explaining to what the things that we're doing to help keep you guys safe too. So I really appreciated your perspective on that. Jennifer, what about you?
I would say always be curious to other people's story and their culture. I would encourage high school or of course college to have of course like clubs for different cultures. It can be Chinese culture or Korean and other API clubs involved and celebrate different holidays. when I was in high school, we had this Lunar New Year celebration every year, and we'll do a fun activity like the Chinese opera, and we have performances, we have the choreography, what else? And dumpling, we served them dumplings, and people just came out to me, hey, that was fun. I wouldn't have the chance to know it if you, like, the school didn't and the school and the club didn't organize this at school. It's like we are teaching students about a lot of different things, and it's really just like a good way to, just be curious, and there's so much more that you don't know, and you'll find it super cool. um what else? Yes, so um I think another important thing is know what student needs. So that's kind of like my personal story. When I was in high school, my parents, like, my main goal, kind of based on my parents and myself, was like, oh, good grade, good academic. So I was like pressured to see my English was not good enough, like the American student, or I wasn't, I didn't dress like them, or I didn't talk like them in certain ways. I got the pressure, but at some point I realized I was different because I wasn't American. I'm still not American. I'm myself, and you just have to this find this or create this new identity, like with the American culture you involve in on the campus, and also what you have as your heritage, the Chinese heritage. You have to find this new place that like cooperate two different cultures together, and like knowing it's okay to not totally be like your friends, because that's your unique identity. And um for school and maybe Cambridge to see, to maybe let them know that it's okay to uh feel you're not like others. I don't know how I should word that. It's like they're okay on their place, and if they need any help, like, to let them know you're always welcome to talk to the coverage advisor, of course, your parents, instead of, holding yourself down and maybe have symptoms of depression, and it just goes forward from there. So like, be supportive for sure, and maybe ask them if they want to talk, if they're going through a hard times.
Wow, they're such good tips and advice, and we hear you both loud and clear on what you guys need and what you think that your fellow students need as well. Thank you for being honest and for being real, and for being very confident. I think you guys did so well at communicating. We're definitely proud of you both here at Cambridge, for all that you do. We look forward to continuing walking with you and your guys' education journey and just seeing where everything leads to. So definitely thank you for sharing with us today. As we move on, we have one last conversation. I really wanted to have this conversation because I think it's the flip version of culture, connecting cultures. It's with Matthew Tilley, our host retention manager here at Cambridge. Some of our host families, you might have talked to him pretty often